Whether you will
Yes.
pay homage to the Buddha together.
Okay.
You lead.
Okay. Right. Good morning, everyone. If let's all stand, please, and then we'll come together. To Buddha and to our dearest master, one bow. Second bow. Third bow. And currently, our above masters, they are not here yet. So maybe later on when they reach, then. Is my voice clear? I hope it's okay. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll begin, and thank you again. And I'm so no sound. Miri. Sound check 1, 2, 3. I hope you can hear. Sound check 1, 2, 3. I hope it's okay. Good sound. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Now I'll begin. So really joyful that I got a chance again to share with everybody. Yeah, I always treasure the chance to be able to share because it really gives me the chance and kind of forces me to look through what I have learned from Master and then really reflect upon it and see what I've gained. And then every time when I do this, I realize that I always have forgotten so much, and the only parts that really live in my mind is just too little. And when I read back to the typings, the records of Master's sermon, sometimes I always felt that was I there? As in, why are some of the things written there so foreign to me? Why is it so so unfamiliar? So every time when I read back, then a lot of memories will have to come back, and then a lot of new things I will have to learn. Everybody? On chapter 14, there's on peaceful practices. So if we can go to page 2. Page 2 is the Lotus Sutra in Chinese. So just like to let everyone to take a good look. So we are actually almost halfway through the Lotus Sutra, and then you will see later on that this portion is actually quite a special portion. So maybe it's clearer if we look at page 3. Page 3, I put the chapters into English. So so if you look in this broad view, we are now at a position where the Buddha has given prediction to the various different capacity of the venerables, from the high capacity, there will be the Shariputra, and then the middle capacity, the lower capacity, and then so on and so forth, opening up to the learned and the learned and the still learning, and then even to Devadatta, so on and so forth, and then the emergence of a treasure tower that represents our Buddha nature, so on and so forth, to tell us eventually that everyone has the Buddha nature, and then we all can walk the Bodhisattva's path. And the Buddha is not someone that's high up there, but it's a level, it's a mindset that Buddha hopes that we can all enter. Just like what Master always says, that the Buddha comes here with only one cause, that is to 开示悟入, to show us the path, to lead us onto the path, and to bring us to prove for ourselves the path, the truth. So so the Buddha really wishes us to all becomes like himself. So in a sense, so through the past 12 chapters up to chapter 12, Buddha has been opening up, throwing away the skillful means that he has been teaching, and then showing the truth and inviting everyone that all have the Buddha nature, do not be worried. And so on chapter 13, encouraging devotions, that's when the Buddha asked, is there anyone that would like to pass down, uphold the teaching? And then he asked on chapter 10 and chapter 12, Buddha has been asking this. And on chapter 13, we see two of the bodhisattvas standing up and make the great vows. And then there are some other venerables, some of the practitioners. They also say to Buddha that they also vow, but they would vow to go to other lands and not here, because here is a world of suffering, world of the evil age. It's just too difficult to take. But at the end, Buddha keep encouraging them do not worry, just follow the three principles: the room of compassion, the close of forbearance, and the seeds of emptiness. And then the Buddha will guide you, will guard you, will protect us as we walk on a path. So encourage everyone, be devoted, do not be worried, carry on this mission, even in the evil age. And so at the end, we see great bodhisattvas stood up and then waiting for Buddha to tell them to go into the world, but then Buddha didn't say anything. And so they made their own vow, and then they walked into the crowd and then practiced their mission, and then just do it. And so now on chapter 14, it began with Bodhisattva Manjushri. After listening to these great bodhisattvas making these great vows, of course, very good. But Bodhisattva Manjushri, since he himself is past Buddha and then walking this Bodhisattva path for eons of time, he knows it's not so simple. It's just like, we can make a lot of great vows. It's just like, we can sing the 尽情伤人莫忧虑, so on and so forth. But every time, sometimes I feel like when we sing, we have a lot of all those emotions, but then after which, it's so difficult to sustain. When we begin to enter the crowd, it's so difficult to sustain. So I suppose Bodhisattva Manjushri knows about this and knows these great bodhisattvas still new on the path, although make these great vows, but they will face difficulties. Bodhisattva Manjushri knew. So he asked on behalf of this, how to uphold this sutra in the time of evil age. How do we do this? And so that's where we are. 14, peaceful practices. So I hope. So a very quick review. So we go to page 4. Just I put all the sutra into it. So we are here, still beginning of the chapter, and then Master actually began preaching the peaceful practices since March 14th, and so we are on the 12th day of the teaching. So let's board this train, and if any of the brothers and sisters just begun, do not be worried. Once you enter, that's the good time. So do not feel that you are too late. Once you're here, that's the best. So let's quickly catch up. We're 12 days into peaceful practices. Okay, page 5. Page 5, a quick summary of what this chapter is all about. So like what we have mentioned, Bodhisattva Manjushri asked on behalf of us, how should Bodhisattvas persevere in upholding the sutra, especially in this evil age? So that's the main question for this chapter. So how do we persevere? How do we persevere? And then from there, the Buddha first says that if Bodhisattvas would like to uphold this sutra in the future, then you have to keep within these 4 areas of peaceful practices. And these 4 areas are the body, the mouth, means the words that we speak, how we, what do we say, the things that we say. And then the mind, what should we think? And then the vows, what kind of vows we should keep in order to help us to persevere. So in these 4 areas, the Buddha teaches us how to be careful. And then right now, we are still in the body area, the body, peaceful practices for the body. And then that's when the Buddha then listed about 10 different items, 10 different groups of people that we should refrain from in order to protect our own heart. So a quick run through, what are they? The rulers, the non-Buddhist or the unwholesome literature, the lokayatas or the anti-lokayatas, later I'll talk a little. And then the hazardous illusionary amusement, the butchers, the hunters, the liveful readers, the other evil activities, the voice hearers, young girls, unmarried women, or the widows, the unmanly men, and the children, so on and so forth. There are actually a few more, but around this, these are the groups that we should refrain from. But Master also says, be careful of these passages, because we might thought that no, these are people that we should cut ourselves away from and then not reject them, but really it's not that way. So later I'll elaborate too. So page 6, yep, Buddhist Mantra asks for us, page 7. So we should keep within these 4 areas of the peaceful practices. So let's first talk about what is the peaceful practices. And then that's where Master on page 8 also shared with us that peaceful practices is really about forbearance. So there are 4 different kinds of peaceful practices. So it's also said 4 different kinds of forbearance. And Master uses an example, which I felt it's so close to us and very easy to see on page 9. In Mozambique and in Zimbabwe, just recently, because I'm in the foreign affairs, so we have been receiving so much communication. We've been doing so much communications with the South African volunteers, and how do they think this? Because I think for South Africa to meet a cyclone, that's really rare. But this cyclone Dinio, it causes a lot of serious situations, 7 deaths and 20,000 houses all destroyed. And you imagine that people in South Africa, especially in the rural areas, their houses are already, they don't really actually have much stable houses, and with the disaster coming, the kind of suffering they will be in. But Master says that our volunteers, they're really amazing, because many of our volunteers, they themselves, their houses are also destroyed or are affected by the cyclone, but they still came out. And then you won't, I believe if I was there or if we were there, we won't even feel that they themselves are actually being affected, because they're always so joyful. And I must also say that on page 10, you can see that they, even though it's in disaster and then they themselves are affected, but they still remember the principles, and they want, although these bags of rice are already going to be given out, but they still remember to put it very nicely, just so that, because they know we are to give with respect, and because to give with respect is really how we should respect everyone, like a Buddha. And so they remember all this, and then still so neatly put all the rices, and then when they give out, they still, on page 11 you can see, they song, they sing, they danced with so much joy, so you don't even feel that it's a disaster scene. It's the kind of joy. So Master uses an example to explain the kind of mindset of these South African volunteers. How are they able to do this? That's really true forbearance. Why is it? Master uses an example that when we are healthy, if we look at page 12, when we are healthy, we do not actually feel ourselves breathing, right? If I don't talk about breathing now, you wouldn't realize that for the past 15 minutes you have been breathing. Actually, we won't know, because when we are healthy, we don't feel. But when we do actually feel ourselves breathing, that means we are unhealthy. So I think that's really why it's forbearance. If you look at page 13, now many a times we think of forbearance or think of perseverance as something like the man on the cliff and then holding on to it and say that wouldn't I persevere, I'm going to hold on, I'll tahan. And I keep thinking that I'll just hold on there, and if I can hold for a long time, that means I can persevere. But how long can we really hold it? And then holding on, just persevere, and then feeling all the difficulty, the sweat on the body. That's just not yet. When we feel that we actually feel that we are persevering, we actually feel that we are forbearing, that means we are actually not there yet. So we must, in this kind of time, continue to climb and go forward and then improve ourselves until we reach the stage that we actually reach the top of the mountain. And then when we are up there, we are still high up there, we are still holding on, but actually, no, there's no tyrants already because we are there. And then 忍住, that's true perseverance. We can hold stand there for as long as we can. Yeah, but so we can hold up there already, and then without the difficulty, without the worries, without the kind of controlling and all those negative emotions we don't have already. So that's like when we are healthy, when our mind feel ready. The forbearance is you don't feel it. So it's 忍而无忍, bear without actually feeling the bear. That's true perseverance. But when we are standing on top of the mountain, we still have to be careful because we're up there. And then when the wind blows or when we might still fall down one day. So we still have to hold on to it. If our heart is too floating, then the wind blows and we fly away and we will fall down the mountain again and we still climb again. So I think here to 忍住 is really to keep ourselves, to stay, more like to stay. So sometimes we say that to stand is some kind of like to bear about someone. To stand really to stand, just to stand there, to stay. So stay is really like forbearance. So if you can bear like you are standing, just stand there. That's true forbearance. So you can stand, and where do we stand? We stand in compassion. We stand in close of forbearance. We stand on the seats of emptiness. We just stand there with a great heart, Bodhisattva's heart. Stand there, and then that's it. Nothing should blow us away from this compassion. I think an idea, something like this, will help us. And then later on, I think Master also elaborates on it. So page 14, where Buddha really go into the first area, the peaceful practices for the body. So what is this area about? It's talking about when our aspirations are not firm yet, then what are some of the environments that we should be closely associated with or not be closely associated with? Not the do and the don't. In terms of the body, some environments that we should be careful of. So what is really laying a path for us to know these are the path that is safer. So try to keep to this path and not go too far off or thinking that I can bear it, I'll go to hell and then I'm okay. But when you go to hell and then you cannot bear your own desires and all those, and then just go together with sentient beings, then there will be a pity. So if we are not firm yet, then what is the more safer path that we should go? So there will be a sentence, and I roughly put into 10 of the not to associate and the 2 to associate with. So very quickly, if you look at page 15, again the 10 that we have just talked about just now. But if we I arrange it again into three kinds, that will be on page 16, where we see that the first kind is thing. So the first to refrain from are groups of people that could lead us to desire for fame, or to make others think that we are wanting fame, or wanting the status, or wanting the. So that's why the first one is rulers or politicians or ministers, governors. These are the people that we should be careful of. Be careful of. That means to refrain from or to not to get too closely associated with, because these like what we say. One is that people might think of my judge or my doubt our intention when we're doing it. Are we seeking fame in doing all this? And that's one. And two is when we get too close to rulers, and then many or politicians, many of the things can become troublesome. Like we are too close to one political party, and then when this political party is okay, they may give us support, but when this political is not okay, and then we'll be linked to all this. And so that's why I must put in our 10 precepts not to go to protest, not to go to political event. So in the same way, we do not involve in this because we don't want to want ourselves to be linked or to be affected by all these ups and downs, because politics in itself is something that's going up and down and keep changing. It's not something to stay in. So that's why be careful of. And then we talk about the non-Buddhist, the unwholesome literatures. I think especially the unwholesome literatures are something that's really prevalent in this society. See all those, be it pornography, or all those, or the violence, or the media. You see all those news that nowadays we see. It's many of time it's unwholesome, and so all these we should refrain from in order to protect our own hearts. And then the lokayatas or the anti-lokayatas, must explain it as the lokayatas is teaching, people that preaches teachings that follows the desires of the people, and the anti-lokayatas are those that anti these and that does not want to follow. So these two groups of people just keep fighting and keep quarreling and keep quarreling with each other. I think we see this in our nowadays too. We see people on Facebook on quarreling on topics that are really not so important, but they just keep quarreling for the sake of quarreling, and then complaining for the sake of complaining. So these are like this kind of groups of people that we should refrain ourselves from too. And then the hazadas or illusionary amusements, like the boxing or all those. These are hazardous. These are joy from other people's suffering. That's not good, and so on and so forth. And then the butchers, the hunters, the lives of breeders. These are the acts of killing. So these are all included as the evil activities. So in these kinds, I put it as a second group, that's the deviated. Then we should be careful from, and so we refrain, and then not to get too close to. Okay, and then the third group, I called it the minds not yet capable of Dharma. Okay, yeah, voice hearers, I think it's not something. It's in between. It's not say deviated, but it's just not there yet. And then it's not that it's not capable of Dharma, but it's just not there yet. Not there yet. So the voice hearers, because they just seek for their own good, they do not think about others. There's no compassion in the heart. Then so these voice hearers, again, we do not pay respect to them, or we do not, in the sense that we do not think of them as a role model to us. And then the 8, 9, 10 are very close to us. And must have been talking about it these few days, very in deep details. The women, the young girls, the widows, and the unmarried men, and the children, so on and so forth. And when we think about this, and let's not think about it. And must also say it's not about equality in men and women. It's just the kind of mindset that we have to be careful of. And such a kind of mindset is minds they are not yet capable of Dharma. So what does it really mean? For example, on page 17. On page 17, Master uses these three to explain it. The roots, the dust, and the consciousness. I think we all very familiar with these. The 6 roots are the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the tongue, the body, and the ear. The 6 roots. These are organs. And then the dust are the things outside that we can see, that we can touch, that we can smell. So these are the dust. And then when our roots, our organs when the eye, for example, the eye sees the things, and so I say, oh, this is a computer, so I have consciousness. After which, so these are this is the path that we kind of always think is that this the root that does the consciousness, root that does the consciousness. But Master says that actually it's the opposite wrong. It's the consciousness that for the past eons of kalpas of eons of time, the karmas, all the things that we've done have planted seeds into our eighth consciousness, the alaya consciousness, the eighth consciousness. They planted the seed into our minds for the past eons. All the karmas that we've done have planted all the seeds into our consciousness, and it's all these consciousness are now affecting how we see things. So because of the consciousness that we have brought with us throughout all the past times, these consciousness are now affecting how our eyes are seeing the things. So a computer is just a computer. In fact, a computer is just metals and then things made up together. But then, because the consciousness that is, oh, this is the Apple computer, and then and then I have no things that I like or things I don't like, and then suddenly we have a lot of these judgments. So for example, we look at in a sense of like a woman body, it's the fault is not on the woman body per se. It's the mind of the man that they have all the desires. And must also use an example. It's the male body is also not the one at fault. It's the mind of the woman that have the desire to see, and so on and so forth. So it's so man and woman is just equal, but equalness. But then what we have to be careful of is our consciousness and all the karma that we have brought to us that causes us to have the kind of desire and all the kind of, so that when our eyes sees these things, and then we have the kind of likes and dislikes and all those differentiations, and those are the desires that we have to be careful about. So, yep. So that's one concept that we have to be to know of. And then page 18, I want to share about it's another area of that we have to be careful of, that when we talk about to reframe, it's not really to reject. So I want to give you an example. Like for example, we say sometimes we feel very worried, feel very upset when we treat a person with goodwill, but then the person returns with no more aggression, and then once and twice and thrice and many times, still we want to forgive, we want to be good to them, but then the person just don't want to accept, and then still become more and more aggressive. And how do we do it? This is actually page 19. This is a question that one of the questions that was posted. So when we counsel a person is hurt and injured, we advise to forgive the person who hurt them. But if the perpetrator turns more aggressive and bad after it's forgiven, then how do we continue to forgive, and how do we protect and keep? So actually, when we see the question, masters and us, we're thinking that, oh no, is this a case of like house violence, or is it the close our family? Is it a family member that are causing this? That is the perpetrator that are causing all these hurts? Then it's really sad. And then but the very first thought we think is that we must protect ourselves. Please protect ourselves. So I think let's be very sure about this, that to forgive is not the same as to let ourselves be hurt. So forgive and protecting ourselves are totally two different things. We can to forgive is really in our heart. We forgive, we do not make any more reaction to it. We do not cause us more bad, or we do not want to fight back or to revenge on other people's doing bad on us. We do not think about revenging and think about because these are causing more afflictions, causing more worries in our hearts. Why do we want to cause more trouble to us? So this, when we talk about forgive, it's really in this sense that we do not cause more action or more reactions and more worries and troubles by thinking about revenge and all this. So we can forgive. We definitely forgive. And in fact, when our heart is big, the Bodhisattva, we don't even feel the need for, because we don't have the kind of dislike in the first case. Because to forgive is when we have dislike, and then we feel that he has done wrong to us, and so then we forgive. But if as a heart of Bodhisattva so open, there's no one that I really need to forgive, because I don't even feel that the person is being aggressive, or no, all those, that heart so open. So I think there's one to be, but and having saying all this, again, you have to come back that please protect yourself. Please protect yourself. So please, if you need to go to the social hotlines or the social support to protect yourself from violence, please do so. Please do so. And that does not diminish the heart of us forgiving the person. We still have no grudges with the person, but it's just that we want to protect ourselves, at the same time protect all the others from hurting, and we also want to protect the person too. So thinking of this protecting, it has nothing to do with less forgiving. So we forgive, but we protect. And then when a person then uses all skillful means, or uses the things, all the different methods that we can to help the person to change, that's true forgiving. That's really true forgiving. We want a person to really change and then become a good person, and that will be true forgiving. So at the same time, I've also answered a question. So that's page 19. I hope this helps. So on page 20, I want to emphasize that, must also emphasize that to refrain is really not equal to reject. So we don't want, because Master is preaching that we want to enter the crowd. But if we don't meet the woman, we don't meet the children, we don't meet the rulers, we don't meet the politicians, how do we do all these charity works? How do we enter the crowd and help this person? So when we say refrain, it's not that we just don't enter the world and then don't go and help, don't have any interaction with all these persons. It's not to reject or to not keep ourselves away, but it's to be careful, to know that when we are interacting with these people, then there are things that we need to be careful about. Like when we interact with people of a different gender, then we have to be careful of our desire. And when we interact with politicians, we have to be careful of the fame. Or when we interact with children, we have to be careful of, because children is, the hearts are still floating around. So you have to use games, you have to use activities to try and teach them to try to learn something. But when you use games, there's really no skillful means to the very skillful means. It's not, you cannot really speak much truth to them. So you don't want yourself to be in this kind of environment that you cannot really use the truth and then just speak Dharma to a person that's still not capable of putting these teachings into their heart. So these are just things to be careful, but it doesn't mean that we just reject this person. These persons are evil persons, so don't have any interaction with them. No, do not reject. Just be careful of. So Master uses a few different ideas that can help us. For example, when we interact with this person, or this on page 21, when we interact with this person, we should preach the Dharma in accordance with what is appropriate. And then at the same time, do not place an expectation upon them. So since we know that they are with such capacity, let's not have any expectation on them, so we do not feel sad that they did not change, or we do not feel we do not blame ourselves on not able to change them, and so on and so forth. So when we do not place that expectation, we will feel more at ease. So for example, I saw a lot of parents when interacting with youngsters like us, in the kind of paniki. They feel no strength, or feels unable to do anything with their kids. Many a time, Zheng Lao Shi, a really good teacher that I really look upon, she once said that a kid becomes good. It's not because the kid becomes good and so I don't have to care about the kid. It's because I don't really care about the kid, and so the keep is not very good. And I didn't really translate it very well, but it means that when we don't place too much expectation, when we don't be too attached to our own kids, and that is when our kids can actually grow. But it doesn't mean that we just don't care. It means that actually we have to be the role model. So on page 22 is where Master also says, don't keep forcing the person to listen to us, or keep forcing the person to really so fast become and knows what we are, to have the same mindset as this. Don't force him to listen to us, to force someone to really think like us. At the same time, we are not rejecting him, but also don't enter into argument. So what we can do, just be a role model. Just be a role model. And then when affinity comes, everything will fall into place. And then you realize, and then when they finally reach the capacity, and it's all okay. So I think most important on page 23 is don't let others affect our direction to really clean our own hearts and then to help the whole world. So that's why I must say is originally we might wish to deliver the sentient beings, but at the end we might if ourselves we are not firm enough, then we might actually be led astray by the sentient beings. So protect our roots. And because we want to protect our roots, so there is a difference of who to be closely associated with and who not to closely associate with. So these are the people that we should be careful of. So page 24, protect our hearts. But I think this is another concept that today, Master just talked about it today. Protect our hearts, but do not think about taming others. Do not keep thinking that we want to tame others, we want to deliver, we want to liberate the sentient beings. Because we cannot change others, we can only change ourselves. So do not think about taming others and put all these and then thinking that I want to go to hell and then I'm going to save all the sentient beings. I think such a heart, in a sense, is also too much, going too much to the extreme. So we want the whole world to be good. It's not that we want to tame. I'm high up there and want to tame someone. It's not that kind of feeling. So, which means really we want to look inwards. Do you really have the compassion? Do we encompass all the sentient beings in our hearts, and then whether good to us, bad to us, or whether they are good person, evil person, there's no difference in all this. So it's not taming others, it's really to look into our own hearts. Do we have differentiation in our own hearts? Have we encompassed everyone? Do we have all this compassion? And with all those compassion, and then all our actions, we just do it with all this compassion, and then the whole world will improve. It's not about taming others. It's really hoping the whole world will improve. That's it. Just that's it. So simple. So very quickly, I want to also share about on 25, page 25, the dirty pocket that the Master also used. It's a very good. I think it's a very good example, which really we need to reflect on ourselves. It's about not capable of containing Dharma. So this is a story with the Buddha and then the Rahula. There's the son of the Buddha, because Rahula, very young, has entered into the Sangha, but because still very young, the heart still very bumpy and then very playful. She like to make fun of others, so on and so forth. So one day, making fun of others, all the other Sanghas knows about it, so it tells Buddha about it. And the Buddha asks Rahula to come forward. And he asks Rahula, please get a bucket of water. I just came back from outside. Help me wash the feet. So the Rahula quickly fetched a bucket of water and then helped Buddha to wash his feet. After that, Buddha asked Rahula, do you think you can drink this water? Rahula said, of course not. This water, before it's clean, you can drink, but after washing the feet, it's not dirty, you cannot drink. So Buddha says that your heart is like this. When your heart is playful and all this, it's like a clean water becomes dirty. Your heart is originally clean, but because of all your playful heart, it becomes dirty. So just like this water that now cannot drink. And then Buddha asked him to throw away the water, and then asked him again. Now the bucket is empty. Can I now fill it with rice to eat? And Buddha says again, no, it cannot, because the bucket is already dirty, because it was filled with dirty items, and then now it's dirty. The bucket itself is dirty. So if I fill it with rice, it still cannot eat. And the Buddha says, yes, you are like this. Even if you repent, if you do not repent with sincerity, really clean the bucket itself also, if you just throw away the dirty water without cleaning the bucket, then even if we fill with something clean, say the rice will also become dirty. I think when I hear this, I felt, wow, I was like overwhelmed. It's like, I totally reflect upon myself. Am I like a dirty bucket? Because if our heart is like a dirty bucket, then no matter how clean Buddha's teaching wants to give to us, when it reaches our heart, it will become dirty. Which means it kind of like we are doomed. It's like, no, the Buddha can do nothing to us when our heart is dirty. The Buddha can do nothing. In a sense, he can only wait for the affinity to come, that we can finally be capable of containing Dharma. So we say, I can really feel that. Why is it that for Kalpas and Kalpas to meet I think it broke. But anyway, I'm on my last page. So there's the body, the mouth, the mind, the vows. So up to today, the peaceful practices on the body has ended, roughly. So I think very quickly we'll go into the mouth and the mind and vows, so on and so forth. And then there's the 10 different groups of people that we should be careful of. And so a very quick summary of what we have shared and what Master have taught these few days. So thank you so much. I'll end here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Yep, Sister Seltrim, please take over. I think there are some sharings. Shall we have the sharings first, and then then the Q&A, or was it brother to the thank you.
Okay, Kanan, brother, Kanan so much. Today, Sister Xiuqing on leave, so I'll be the fancy.
Okay, thank you so much.
Suppose Sister Yu Mei. Do we have other here? Okay. My first Kanan. Sister Yu Mei, you want to have a quick one on her severe experience? I find it her sharing today more important than mine. So I would like to. Next week. Can Sister Yu Mei share 2 or 3 minutes? Quick one. Okay. I share mine first, yeah. Okay. I'll share my experience last weekend, 17 to 19, during the Kima conference. I was in the kitchen, and the deadline and all this, very hard. We are very tight in our schedule, So wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, reported work, and many times even very senior members and senior commissioners are being tested on, like Brother Yu mentioned the word forbearance. Can you stand all this? Can you stand the pressure, the stress? So I was being tested again and again until one moment I almost gave in because it was we were very hard pressed on time. So the harsh words and very even some very new volunteers foul words, that kind of thing. So luckily I was during the a couple of months back, Sri Bhasan Master mentioned always the but I still, even though I didn't react, but in my mind, just now we mentioned the 4 practices. Of course, we didn't scold back. Before I was in this Sri Bhasan session, normally I react very quickly. Normally I just give it back, whoever who use very harsh words or vulgar words. But Master Chang reminded me this never sliding bodhisattva, the Chang the attitude, the approach taken by this never sliding bodhisattva. I find it very, very useful. So Master always mentioned accept all the conditions, because they are just conditions, they are just phenomena, they are just things, these things shall pass. But the mind is always, the mind already reacted, the mind will say, what? What is happening? Who do you think you are? That kind of thing. They are just all volunteers, and I still have this I spend most of the time in the kitchen. I love the kitchen work. I love the stress, and I love the heat. I love it, but sometimes it's too much. It's more than you can chew. And many will get upset and just left. They just left. Some went to the dormitory to rest, because 4 o'clock in the morning we woke up. So I think Master's teaching is fantastic, because she always asks us to go move into the crowd, to work. Work with like this morning, Brother Bonhoff shared with us. We dealing with different people, different education background, different business, different work, different occupation, some even different religious background. So when we are involved in different background, different people, so the reaction is always there, even though we're supposed to be mindful of our body, mind, and our speech. Speech, of course, we can keep quiet, we can forbid, but the mind is very difficult to tame our own mind. We tend to, shall I use the word judging? We judge people. We want to, just now Brother Yu mentioned the word, we want to tame people, we want to judge people, we want to correct people, instead of self-correction, instead of self-contemplation. So these are the things that I notice my behavior. Of course, after Sri Bhasan, there is a little bit of modification behavior-wise, but still the doubt, sometimes the doubt, the arrogance is there. So a lot of outside people come into our kitchen, come to Jing to work, but because they have not gone through the training. So as a commissioner, I think that I should do more in this 4 infinite minds, Su Liang Xin, and the 6 parameters, especially on the forbearance part, on the precepts part. When we don't follow the precepts, we want to control. Sometimes we want to control things in the kitchen, but it's too difficult. Situation too difficult. The time, we are hard pressed for time and deadline to be met. So it gets me agitated, gets me very, very upset. So these are some of the things I need to improve on. But I find that there's the method taught by Master Chang on the never sliding Bodhisattva, Chang. I think it's very useful. Not only I managed to control my temper, I managed to bow to the person who used harsh words, who shouted in the kitchen. I managed to No, I didn't say sorry or say thank you or感恩. I just bow to him 90 degrees. I just bow to him. I managed to lower myself to say, you know, it's another form of, another way of saying 感恩 and say, yeah, he's here to teach me. He's our grand sutra. You know, Master Chang always say, anybody that gives you hell, gives you problems, gives you challenges, he is our teacher. He's our grand sutra. So I really thank this. He's a brother. He's a brother. He's a very new volunteer. So I also hope I gave him my full blessing so that he can come and help us cook more and work more diligently in the kitchen, and hopefully one day he can overcome the problem of sleeping too much and come to Xun Fa Xiang early morning. And I think this is my little sharing on this last 2 days encounter with a very difficult situation and difficult people. I find Master's method is really fantastic. After attending Xun Fa Xiang, she gives all the solutions. She gives us all the problem-solving methods. And also one last thing I'd like to point out is the sharing by Ibu Umi Wahida in the last Dima conference. She really proved to us that with Dharma, Xun Fa Xiang Dharma, of course, everything is possible. There is always a solution for everything. You know, situations, challenges, obstacles. She find Master Ching's Dharma so useful, so wonderful. So she, from 8,000 plus orphans to now close to 15,000 housewife. A housewife, she managed to run the madrasa so well, so efficient, in so difficult conditions in Indonesia. So this is something she's my role model.感恩 Ibu Miwada with these powerful lessons. Okay, so now is Sister Yomi. I pass the mic to you. You must share with us the Serbia experience here. Okay, over to you, Sister Yomi.
Hi, good morning, Brother Yuki. I'm not sure whether you remember me or not, because last time when I soldiered in Taiwan, actually I met you. Actually, I'm surprised at the time. I thought you already commissioned, Then I'm surprised you are patient, but you can share so much to us. It's really amazing. And when I look at you, I'm like looking at a superstar. So with the Xun Fa Xiang, right, I find myself like actually have more courage to do a lot of things because I'm just a regular woman with kids. It's a very, very ordinary person. But and in this February, when I received a message from 3-in-1 Sanhe about mission to Serbia, I'm just trying my luck because compared to others, Sanhe, I'm really very green and I don't know how to write, whatever. But I just try my luck and text back and say that yes, I'm interested. Then our Tongren actually texted me back and said, yes, okay, so we arranged the air ticket. So I don't know where I served you at the time. So, and I feel great because of when another brother Xinglai is one of my, the friends who went to Taiwan 3 years back, that he also is very experienced, although just 3 years compared to myself. And both of us, we thought that a team of 10 or 9 of us could, but when we're looking at each other and say that, oh, I thought there would be another few more people, then they said no. Xinglai said no, just 2 of us. So I'm like, oh my God. So but we are happy because of within the 9 days we actually do our very best to help the refugee and actually with Xun Fa Xiang, Master always said mindfulness. So we give away all the things that they need, and I ask myself, what else can I do? So actually, when I interviewed one of the committees of the refugee, I asked him about, can you share with me what actually touched you when your work is actually taking care of refugees for years after years? What made you like so passionate in your work? He's a very muscular guy. He's actually the look is very fierce. He shared with me. He said that one time there was a train. There's a Syrian refugee. They want to get to the train to another stop. So he looked at there's one little girl looking at him. So he looked back and he actually make a funny face to the little girl like this. So the little girl give him back a funny face, and both of them just laugh and laugh and laugh. The situation is very difficult, but then after that, when the train came, the little girl actually ran towards him. He's just about 2 or 3 years old, and give him a big hug. He'd say that this is the moment is worth all the effort. So what he actually showed to me is like, we are not here just to give whatever physical, but we give our heart, our love, we plant a good seed. So I'm very lucky because as a 3-in-1, like myself, brother Xing and also another sister, Wondrous from Germany. So they are they actually very disciplined in 3% every time they can, but I'm more actually a bit of lazy type of people. So actually, without too much of communications, we kind of understand each other. So we quickly go back to, we use our time in the bus and quickly send articles, compile all the articles, and when we reach a hotel or a small hotel, right, we actually use every moment. We go back to the refugee camp next to us, next to the hotels, and give joy to the children. We play with the children. We actually, because the weather is so cold and I'm so fat, so I'm not able to play, but I just play with them, like hide and seek, whatever. We play, and until the last day, right? I told the children, I said that I'm so sorry, we have to go because tomorrow we're not coming back. So today is the last day we play with you. But the children all rushed to the gate and they tried to like build a wall, like they frame us to, myself and sister Wondrous to go back to a hotel. I think the take back is I use every moment that whatever I learned in Street Fashion, I use every moment to plant a good seed to the children's and also the refugee. And also, even though we walk through the refugee camp, they come to us with a bounce, with a hurta. I found that this is all the seed that previous brother and sister planted, and I got the rip of that. So I haven't do anything, but the previous sister brother who actually plant all the good seed there. So I think this is something that's very amazing. And another thing is like, because we have all the volunteers from Bosnia, they are the volunteers who actually, during the flood that we went there for the Faha. So, and we actually have a training there for the VE because they may go back to Taiwan in month of May. So the brother Hurong from Singapore and myself, we actually try to teach them how to walk out in. So when we actually go back to the Reinforcement Bai, so and one of the volunteers who actually also the translator who refused to do that because then after that when we rest for a while, I asked him about what is his religious, and also he told me he's a Christian and how the Christian bows to their God, and he told me how is it. So and we actually exchanged ideas, and the next morning it's very amazing. It's like when other people is learning that, he actually volunteers to practice it, to come to us and say, I want to practice it. And he bounds very, very gladly. Everything is using his mind. Then I asked why he suddenly changed. He said that I didn't bounce it because of I don't understand the Bodhisattva, I don't understand. But now after you explain to me, I really feel like yeah, and also after I discussed with my mom, we should learn each other's culture, and also I learned his culture, you know, the way of how he stands in front of his God also. So I think it's like giving the like Xunfa Xiang, right? So I understand like we respect all the religions. So and also all these religions make us closer and more love. So this is something really amazing. And yeah, so in Siji is we actually try to unleash all our power within, so we can do everything that we, as long as that we just consistently practice what Master told us. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brother Yuping and all the Sufu. Thank you so much.
Sister Yumi. So, any more sharing? So, could we pass the mic back to Wally? Could we have our Shifu to?
Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Yeah, but I think thank you so much to this sharing. I think it really inspires us so much to practice this to our life and really doing an example how really give a bow, and then I think you said it very well that it's the 境界 will pass. That is the mind that keep attached to it and then cause all the worries. So it is to look within that we change. And you say so well. And then to share the experience in the refugee camp, we can change people, and then how is understanding better into Dharma, that we can now exchange and then see our way. We can really go back to the beach and realize that we are all on the same path. It's so important. So I think thank you so much for the share.
Share.
Thank you. So, I think it's also about time, and so thank you, Master, for giving us this time. So I think so thank you today for question and answers. You may have to leave to speak. So I thank you so much. So Brother Jeff, would that be okay?
Okay. Brother Yuping 感恩师父，感恩慈师的考验，感恩so much.
Thank you so much. Then maybe Brother Jeff would like to lead the three bows.
Yeah. Let's rise. Bow. Pay formation. Good. Let's bow. Second bow. Third bow. And 感恩 everyone. 感恩师父。
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.